Back in Hawaii in 1970, a rainbow was about to appear. Something that was truly only in the eye of the beholder, for it appeared only where it was, for each particular person. Strange, Pasiona said. I felt as if I was experiencing the rainbow for the first time. Perhaps you were, I replied, unknowing of nobody at that time, but now I realized that I had seen him whizzing by on his way to the CMBR and the butterflies on the edge of forever, so I wrote, "Some may ask of life, how does one find love? Life says, be still, don't look far or above, stop, let love's butterfly alight on you, for that's the touch that romance is made of. The rose is the flower that the bee cruises, meeting there the butterfly that love chooses. They unfold the petals of the blossom, and drink the nectar of love's sweet juices. The scent of plumeria perfumed the night airs ever more intensely, drenching us in its fragrance as we went to sleep to enjoy our new all-night cable channel of dreams. The mountaintop retreat granted serenity in a crazy world, but Okinawa soon called for an army supply system update, and so I picked up the tapes and 2 first-class tickets, one for me and one for the tapes to have their own seat, for I could never let them out of my sight for even a millisecond. I had taken a course in security and military intelligence and been granted a high-level clearance and had to carry a pistol. Of course, I even had to take the computer tapes to the bathroom with me, washing them and my hands as well. So we put the tapes in the overhead storage bin as Pasiona settled into the seat next to mine. During the flight, I read a book on anti-gravity. I couldn't put it down. I asked my companion, "What's holding this airplane up?" For she was excellent in science. "A wing and a prayer," she replied. One of Austin's wilder theories of everything, fundamental possibility exists and is the ultimate basis of reality, and has always existed since nothing can become of nothing. It is fundamentally every possibility at once in superposition. Note that a fundamental particular state of something was totally impossible, for how could the choice have been made? A fundamental state of nothingness was totally impossible too, for there is indeed something that our consciousness interprets. Fundamental possibility projects our local reality, the penultimate reality, via electrons, quarks and the such, and/or strings, a hologram, consciousness or whatever. All is as it is in our local reality because it works. It gets down the reason that the all can have no limits, or it isn't the all, so it must be infinite and eternal, doing everything. That there is nothing to make it of still haunts, but we do observe a balance of polarity of charge, matter and antimatter, a weak and a strong nuclear force, and gravity's negative potential energy, said to balance the positive kinetic energy of stuff, not to mention fields making particles and particles making fields. So, there seems to be a balance of opposites, which is perhaps a zero balance. Nothing cannot be because it is perfectly unstable.
In a Theory of Everything forum long ago, in the 9th century, Abu Nasr Farabi wrote, "Vague and unrefined did the secrets of existence remain. Unpierced did that highly revered pearl remain. Each person said something according to his reason, yet untold did the point which was of essence remain." And Abul Hassan Karkwani replied in the forum in the 11th century, "The internet was slow in those days. The primordial secrets neither you know nor I. The words of the puzzle neither you can read nor I. Your discourse and mine are behind the curtain. When the curtain falls, neither you remain nor I." But they didn't know how far science would advance and that we would actually be able to see the curtain and derive the truth from it, so we may say more. "I've been thinking about fundamental possibility," I said to Pasiona. "It solves a lot of problems. It's also what I've been leaning toward lately, although the wild toe revelations from imaginations have clarified it." "Like what?" she inquired. "Like how the penultimate reality, the fundamental substance, could still have existed forever, or at least in its potential form, and how its particular form was specifically one that worked instead of one that didn't." "It existed forever because time was born with it from possibility, the both of them always there as potential," she replied. "Yes, there was just what is rather than what was not. For a nothingness could never be, for there is surely something here, yet it need balance to nothing, since there is no other source." The fundamental substance was the most probable of all possibilities, she surmised. Yes, and perhaps it was the only possibility that would work. Or the others fizzled and failed by going nowhere, sort of a survival of the fittest of all the scenarios of consequences of what could serve as reality. And fundamental possibility had to exist, rather than not, for that's all there could be. Yet I'm still trying to adjust to this new way of thinking.
True, Imagination chimed in. Fundamental possibility is a bit like your mind sifting through eventualities of possible actions, only this possibility forms substances. It may even be forming some now, here and there, but on a lesser basis than when the universe expanded, for then all was wide open. Or it is that even low probability event of huge bangs must ever and eventually happen. Of course, this possibility must remain simple in a way, that being the price of being fundamental, but you, a 13 billion year complex composite, are much more advanced, and that is where real and meaningful life occurs. If fundamental possibility could talk, which it can't, for it is not a system, it might say something much the same as you would now in your quest for the theory of everything. I'll follow every single avenue, whether it's brightly lit or a dark alley, exploring one ways, no ways, and dead ends, until cornered where the truth is hiding. And now you've arrived in that dark corner, and so you can live life better by knowing who you are. Some simple substance gave rise to everything, chosen as probable above the rest, knowing at once that it would function well, the most promising, the possible ones. However, unlike the simple beginnings, the possibilities of the complexities of everything are unbounded, and that's the greatest thing. As to how complex, there is no limit, except perhaps when it forms a black hole, and the smallest is the Planck distance, so size is absolute, not relative. All in all, you are the lucky one standing atop the pinnacle of time, change, form, and substance. Life is waiting when you have the right attitude. You will come to not even know what sorrow is. They continued on through the entangled forest. Our minds do seem to make the actual from the possible, don't they? She proposed. Well, possibility was our birthplace, so perhaps we retain a version of it, he answered. We create thought. The underwritten underwriter. Of this creational wave of matter covers all loss and liability, guaranteeing payment, by dipping into possibility. What random, unsystematic event became, so unmethodically, quite arbitrary, so lame, unplanned, undirected, so casual, uncasual made, as some indiscriminate, non-specific one bait of haphazard stray that erratic chance gave.